There are over 4.6 million refugees in the Igad area. As more people leave their homes to avoid poverty, violence, and the negative effects of climate change, such as environmental degradation, this population is still growing. The primary causes of displacement in the area are conflicts. The achievement of leaving no one behind, one of the UN's 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, will be greatly impacted by this relocation. Since 2017, Igad has been coordinating the Development Response to Displacement Impacts Project (DRDIP) in Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Djibouti.
The Drdip is a regional project. It has 4 components at the country level, and the 5th component, it is a regional support or regional operation for coordination and acknowledgement and policy development and policy facilitation of the relationship between the different projects. So our role usually to bring countries together to discuss issues related to the project, the challenges, and provide recommendations to each other, to exchange visits, to exchange knowledge, so that they can learn from each other.
The World Bank provided $626 million in funding DRDIP project, which has provided much-needed assistance to refugee-hosting countries towards improving access to basic social and economic services, expanding livelihood opportunities, and enhancing environmental management for refugees and their host communities.
It was an effort on the part of the World Bank to support countries that were hosting refugees, recognizing that in the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region, close to 20% of the forcibly displaced population in the whole world. So what this project, Drdip, has tried to do, in very simple terms, is help the communities and governments to address some of these stress points, and then also try to maximize the opportunity that the refugee presence does represent.
The project was implemented through the Community-Driven Development (CDD), an approach that places communities at the heart of determining and implementing their development priorities.
This gives this project a unique nature, because in other projects, other implementing partner, private sector could be, or other NGOs they are implementing. But this community-led project, they are using the government structure, and I think that is the nature of the success that they have.
CDD processes were composed of 4 key elements. These are community contributions, use of existing institutional arrangements within governments, adoption of community-led procurement processes, and local community structures. To boost livelihood opportunities for displacement-affected communities, the project has supported agricultural projects, connected small and medium businesses to the national electricity grid, and procured goods and services from local enterprises domiciled within the areas where the project was being implemented. Through innovative livelihood interventions by project countries such as the Labor-Intensive Public Works (LIPW), Village Revolving Fund (VRF), and other cash-based assistance, DRDIP has created over 9 million short-term livelihood opportunities for vulnerable populations.
We received a grant from the World Bank through the Igad and Drdip to improve on livelihood of the people, but in the environmental component, whereby the community members produce briquette and safe cook stove, and in the end of it all, you find youth, women, and elderly are all joined together. This briquette is being used as an alternative fuel for cooking in many homes, and there are so many benefits the community has started reaping from this already. First of all, there is improved kitchen, whereby you'll find that there is not a lot of smoke being produced, and health-related issues that can affect the eyes due to a lot of smoke, and many respiratory diseases are combated. And also, for those who are involved in the manufacturing of some of this briquette, it is a source of income to them as well.
The DRDIP project made significant investments in the construction of new schools, and the upgrading of existing educational facilities in order to achieve an equivocal ground that guarantees all school-age children from refugee hosting areas access to high-quality education. Classrooms, restroom buildings, labs, teacher housing quarters, perimeter fencing, water storage tanks, and dorms were targeted amenities. To underline the CDD approach, a Community Project Management Committee (CPMC) was nominated from the local residents to oversee development and ensure projects adhere to standards set by local and national authorities.
We had to sit as a community. We had to write our request to choose the people who would spearhead that program, and then we made that application. We took it to the sub-county, they signed it, and then they forwarded it to the district.
To emphasize the CDD approach, local residents nominated a Community Project Management Committee (CPMC) to supervise development and guarantee that standards meet local and national authorities' criteria.
When we were told that we have been awarded a construction project, definitely they told us that there will be a process whereby we had to have the management committee and the CPMC, the procurement committee.
Procurement services and goods required for the sub-projects was carried out by another community-led structure, the Community Procurement Committee, CPC.
There was an advertisement which was made. Contractors submitted in their applications. Then the bidding process, of course the CPC had to look at those applications. It was unfortunate that for the first time we never got a successful contract. And then it was re-advertised again. As the first process, there was bidding, there was opening of bids, and later on we got a successful one.
The Grievance Redress Committee (GRC), which was made up of members of the neighborhood refugee hosting community, handled any grievances that could arise between the contractor and the beneficiaries or school administration. Each committee had 1/3 of its members from the other gender in order to maintain gender parity. This made sure that women were represented in all decision-making spheres. New schools and upgraded learning infrastructure were handed over to the respective ministries of education. This ensured learning facilities in refugee hosting areas were properly staffed, equipped, and mainstreamed into the national education system. These efforts have significantly improved access to quality education for host and refugee learners and contributed to raising the standard of infrastructure across Drdip implementation areas. In Ethiopia, a total of 225 education facilities are complete and fully functional. This has created access to more than 284,583 learners, out of whom 137,695 are female, in the regions implementing Drdip in Ethiopia. In Kenya, the project has invested in 310 basic education facilities across the refugee hosting counties. A total of 936.2 million shillings has been allocated to funding efforts towards the improvement of primary and secondary school infrastructure. In Uganda, 304 funded education sub-projects were completed and fully functional across the 15 refugee hosting districts under Drdip.
We have improved the school infrastructure. We've built numbers of classrooms, we've built teachers' houses, we have built laboratories and dormitories for children. We have, caused the change in the school environment for the better. And what this has caused is increase in enrollment, increase in retention and attendance of children. We have also reduced the dropout rates, and we have reduced the pupil-to-class ratio and ensured that the children are learning in a better environment. And teachers are also providing the services well. And the impact of this is that now more refugees and more children of citizens of Uganda are learning better, and we have better outcomes.
273 education facilities were situated within local hosting communities, while 31 in refugee settlements. A total of 37,991 learners have enrolled in schools, which has led to reduction in pupil classroom ratio from 114 to 71 in districts implementing the project. In Djibouti, the Drdip project invested community funds in 5 education sub-projects in Obok and Ali Sabieh regions, which include rehabilitation of dormitories and refectories at Obok Middle School, construction of an administration block and 5 science classrooms at Obok High School, and construction of a secondary school and staff housing. The project's outcomes are evident in that safe and conducive learning environment has improved learners' self-esteem. Classrooms are no longer congested and teacher-pupil ratio has improved. Clean drinking water is readily available within the school. No threat of attack by wild and domestic animals while in school. Increased learning time due to reduced walking distance to nearest school. Teachers sufficiently attend to needs of learners since accommodation is available within the school. Evidence of dignified learning enabled by the availability of clean and safe-to-use toilets for boys and girls.
So I think we've done quite a lot as an international community, and the governments have done a huge amount of work, I think, in terms of building stronger social relations between refugees and host communities. And so this has helped to create a better environment between refugees and host communities, a strong social foundation, if you like, for further development in the future.
Teachers, parents and members of the CPMC attest that majority of the assisted schools have seen an improvement in academic achievement as a result of Drdip.
They have improved the performance. Last year it was 216, the previous year it was 216, last year it was 249.7. All that was brought out by this helping hand that was extended toward us.
Local communities and their leaders have called upon the national government, local authorities and development partners to take up and institutionalize the CDD model into regular public development programming at the grassroots level.
All member states of IGAD should be in position of allocating some budget so that there is sensitization of the community as far as environment-related issues are concerned. Local leaders, like the councillors, can come up also with bylaws that can guide the community on the do's and the don'ts of the environment.
That instead of talking every time, you have already made the pledges, you have designed the policies. What is needed now is the step taken. You need to move forward because the pledges which they have made are so positive. The only challenge which is remaining is which action are you taking and when are you taking it? That is the key thing that I feel IGAD member states should think of addressing. But their vision, the policy they have created and the pledges they are making are so positive.